Today on Studio One, simulators are often used to train people in a safe environment. We'll show you a simulator for one of the most stressful jobs in the world. Also, we found one man who likes the little stuff. He takes big things and makes mini replicas. And the news team will tell us the different ways children are expressing their patriotism.
From the University of North Dakota, with Monty Cashel and Ivy Arneson, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. Well, Monty, a lot of people need caffeine in the mornings to wake up and get going with their day.
I usually drink 1 cup of coffee.
I don't drink the coffee, but researchers at the National Academy of Sciences have come up with new ways to put caffeine into chewing gum or nutrition bars and things like that, and because they found out that the caffeine is actually helping with cognitive performance and things like that. So they're looking for alternate ways, and what they're doing is the main reason for this study is because they need the troops overseas to stay awake. They're doing lots of different things at night, and they need long hours and things like that. So they're looking for different ways they can stimulate caffeine things without using coffee. So.
Sure. I guess it wouldn't be all that great to carry out big jugs of coffee.
No, I don't think that works in the desert in Afghanistan.
Well, hopefully it works for them. We've got a great show coming up. One of the topics, many people were deeply affected by the Vietnam War. Today we'll talk with someone that has firsthand knowledge about a forgotten group of people who are still trying to recover.
The heat from the rubble in New York City still burns. We'll meet one man whose work helps bring closure for families associated with Ground Zero.
But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. Military strikes against the Taliban continue in Afghanistan. U.S. jets are targeting caves and tunnels that may contain Taliban armor and troops. Pentagon officials say it has been difficult to determine the impact of the bombings, but they believe they are making progress against Taliban targets in Kabul and Kandahar. 21 civilians were killed in Kandahar and a number of others injured when a B-52 strike hit a clinic there. The Pentagon says the clinic was a terrorist target.
We know of certain knowledge they're putting anti-aircraft batteries on top of buildings in residential areas for the purpose of attracting bombs so that, in fact, they can then show the press that civilians have been killed.
In other news, the anthrax scare continues. Investigators are now finding anthrax in places they did not initially expect. Positive tests for anthrax have been confirmed at a postal building in Kansas City and a repair shop in Indianapolis. The case continues to puzzle officials since they have only found 3 letters containing anthrax. The flu season is approaching, and that means many people will be taking prescription medicine they don't need. Antibiotics are seen as a cure for most sicknesses, but this is not the case. Antibiotics are only effective on bacterial illnesses and are useless for viral infections such as the flu or the common cold. Many doctors feel the public does not know enough about antibiotics and are requesting them from their physician.
The patient or the parents of patient, when you deal with children, do put pressure on the physicians, and sometimes physician yields, but not really very often.
The American Medical Association says that because people misuse antibiotics, they are becoming less effective. They found that more than 80% of the most common bacteria are resistant to antibiotics. A flag that was flown over Iraq in an F-16 is now making its way across the United States. Participants are running the flag across the country from Boston to Los Angeles. The route they are taking is in honor of the 2 flights that did not complete the trip on September 11th. The event is being organized by airline employees. One main goal of the event is to raise money to benefit the victims of the tragedy. The flag left Boston on October 11th and is scheduled to reach Los Angeles on Veterans Day, November 11th. The Northern Alliance in Afghanistan is something many people don't know much about, but one young woman got the chance to get an inside look of what motivates this group.
And then after a month, I was offered a job to work in the...
Navbahari Mamova knows more than most people about what's going on in Afghanistan right now. She's a former press secretary for the Northern Alliance. Imamova, who is a graduate student in journalism, spoke at the University of North Dakota about her job. She talked about how the Northern Alliance came to be united and how they are doing in their fight against the Taliban.
Meanwhile, some people who were actually united under the alliance, they left. And there were times actually when there was no Northern Alliance. There was only one person who was fighting against them, who was leading the army. And now they're again together.
Working in an Afghanistan embassy, Imamova got an inside look at how the Northern Alliance fights the Taliban. Right now, the Northern Alliance officially controls 10% of Afghanistan. She hopes the international coverage of Afghanistan will make people aware that this is a global concern.
Maybe, Northern Alliance, they used to fail always to prove that it's not a regional problem, it's an international. You have to be more serious about Afghanistan.
Imamova disapproves of the way the Taliban is running Afghanistan. She says they are misusing the Islamic religion.
And they think that the whole world is against Islam. As a Muslim, I don't think that, the world is against Islam. There are so many other religions, and religion doesn't matter, just what matters is your treatment of people.
She hopes the Northern Alliance will one day be no more, because when that happens, then the Taliban will no longer control Afghanistan. This is Christine Rohr reporting for Studio One News.
Imamova would like to work for the embassy again, but only on the condition that they are no longer a government in exile. And that's news for now. Monty and Ivy?
Thank you, Leanna. Well, November is here. It's slipped up on us, and of course that means the white stuff is coming fairly soon, probably.
I know. Well, why don't we go to the Regional Weather Information Center, and hopefully we won't see any of that white stuff in our future. Ryan Vipond, what do you have for us?
Well, Monty and Ivy, we'll take a look at the forecast to see if there's any white stuff in our future. It was a windy day out there today across most of the region, winds in excess of 40 miles per hour. We'll take a look at the forecast, see if the winds will slacken up here the next couple of days shortly. First of all, taking a look at our almanac data for Grand Forks. North Dakota, we bottomed out this morning at 38 degrees, so that's much above normal. Daytime high this afternoon reached 50. Month-to-date precip only a trace on our sunset tonight at 5:11 p.m. Currently in Grand Forks, under an overcast sky, we see a temperature of 46 degrees, relative humidity now at 70%. West winds at 21, gusting to 29 miles per hour currently, and our pressure at 29.50 inches. Our regionally temperatures across the area, pretty typical for this time of year, early November. The warm spot, 71 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 62 in the Twin Cities, Fargo now at 53, Bismarck and Rapid City at 57, and Winnipeg now at 7 degrees Celsius. Our surface analysis for the nation today shows a double-barreled low-pressure system off to our north in south-central Canada. Showers and a few embedded thunderstorms moving through the region in the Ohio Valley. As we take a closer look into the upper Midwest, cold front pushing off to our east. Very windy conditions behind this, but some sunshine peeking through the clouds. Tomorrow's forecast shows a secondary frontal system approaching our area. Not much to work with in terms of precipitation, so not packing a punch at all. Still breezy conditions, but lighter than today. West winds at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday's detailed forecast here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Mostly sunny skies. We'll see pleasant and mild conditions. Still breezy. West winds at 15 to 25 and daytime highs reaching 52 degrees. For all your up-to-date weather information, click on our website at www.rwic.und.edu. So Monty and Ivy, the next couple of days still look a bit breezy, and then a warming trend is in our future. We'll take a closer look at that later in the show.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Well, hopefully people will be able to enjoy the weather while it stays warm.
Yeah,
and
take the dog out for a walk,
Yeah.
go for a run or something like that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I know there's very big games that are happening in baseball, and James DeGelder is here to tell us all about that.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. Wednesday night was a very pivotal night for the New York Yankees. Going into the game, they trailed the Arizona Diamondbacks 2-1 in the World Series and are facing a must-win situation. Top 8 tied him off the man on, and DeRozzo drives the ball to deep center and over Bernie Williams' head. Luis Gonzalez tries to score from first and does. The D-backs would tack on another run and take a late 3-1 lead. Now bottom 9th, 1 on, 2 outs, and Tino Martinez hits a game-tying 2-run home run to get the Yankees back in the game. It would end up going to extra innings. Now bottom 10th, tied at 3, and Derek Jeter hits it and just gets it to go over the wall to give the Yankees the big win, and the series is tied at 2.
This is a huge game for us. We're down 2-1. We're down to our last out, and Tino hit the huge home run. So right now, this is the biggest so far.
Following the game, some questioned manager Brentley's decision to take out Schilling after 7 innings.
I felt good. I told him there was no reason to take me out right there. He's the manager. I just need to be honest with him.
The Game 5 starters will be Arizona's Miguel Batista facing New York's Mike Mussina. The hunting season in the northern Midwest is gearing up, and with deer hunting season beginning soon, all hunters need to remember to practice the highest level of safety. A mandatory hunter safety course must be successfully completed in order to buy a hunting license in most states. The course was implemented around most of the country during the 1980s in hopes of reducing the number of hunting accidents that occur each season. In the state of North Dakota, the rules and regulations are no different.
You have to have a hunter safety course in order to go hunting in North Dakota. You have to be 12 years old in order to take the course, and then you can hunt.
In North Dakota, all hunters born after 1961 are required to complete the safety course. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question, and this week's question is, who was the first player in the history of baseball to have his number retired? Is it Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb, or Joe DiMaggio? The answer to that question and more sports will come in the second half of the show. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, James. Don't forget to ask for sardines, pineapple, and extra cheese when you visit this place. We'll show you how some women are making people's stomachs beg for more.
Also, it started with a war and ended in desertion. This is the story of a special group of people who were one of the United States' most loyal allies during the Vietnam War. We'll talk with a veteran who is trying to keep the promises that America failed to deliver.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. The University of North Dakota offers 136 programs with outstanding faculty who will prepare you for your future. UND, an affordable, high-quality education that's nationally ranked. Your future starts here. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
For America, the Vietnam War ended decades ago, but one group of people continued fighting for the United States until the 1990s. Now they are trying to fight to keep their culture alive. Vietnam veteran Lee Finstad is one person who is trying to make a difference in their country. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Lee. Well, first of all, you have started an organization, you and your friends, called the Cambodia Corporation. And can you just tell us what the mission is of this corporation?
Well, basically, Ivy, what we're attempting to do is to save an entire culture of people. The Mountaineer population at one time was probably in excess of 3.5 million people. Currently, we think that probably is only about 100,000 surviving.
Okay, and how did you first get involved in this corporation?
Well, originally I was a Special Forces camp commander in Vietnam during the Vietnam conflict, and I commanded an A camp where we had to recruit basically soldiers and train them, and we recruited soldiers among the Mountaineer tribes. And the tribes people can be, kind of an analogy would be similar to our American Indians. They were original indigenous people in that area.
Okay, and what is the culture like of the Mountaineers? Can you just tell us a little bit what they're like?
They're very spiritual people and very simple. Their language, I think, is a reflection of their culture, and each syllable, it means is a separate symbol for something. For example, when I was there, they didn't have a word for divorce in their vocabulary. They have literally, we would call maybe uncivilized in some aspect, as they have no modern conveniences. On the other hand, they were such an innocent people.
And why do you believe it's important that we help these people? Why is your corporation involved?
Well, for one thing, their culture goes back perhaps to 500 years before Christ. And these people, if we could even study their medical knowledge, for example, they have learned how to survive in the jungle without any modern conveniences of electricity. There's no doctors, there's no schools, their culture is made up primarily of agriculture, farming, and just family affairs.
And what type of relief will your organization help to bring them?
Well, their plight is quite serious right now. How they happened to end up in Cambodia is they migrated from the Central Highlands of Vietnam. And because of all the devastation of the Vietnam War and bombing in Cambodia and logging, denuding the forest, chemical sprays, these people have been displaced from their place of origin, and now are living in a country that they're adapting to that wasn't ready for them. So there's no schools, there's no doctors. The water is contaminated. In order to get water, they dig a well by hand and have to go down some 30, 40, 50 feet, and they have no tools to accomplish this.
And what do you think is the most important step when you're trying to get things over there? What do you believe they need first of all, the basic thing?
Well, the first thing we're trying to do now is to equip them with some medical capabilities. For example, there's a hospital over there, but it isn't really a hospital as we would call it, because it's simply a place to go to die. Someone donated a generator a year ago, but there's no electricity, so they couldn't run they donated a x-ray machine, but there's no generator, there's no electricity, so you can't x-ray anything.
Right.
So it's real basic kind of medical needs that we have to satisfy first.
And the Cambodia Corporation, where do they get their funding from?
Well, it's just entirely a charitable organization, depend upon funding from individuals is how it started out. Now we are applying for some government grants to assist these people.
And what has your success been so far with everything? I mean, has it taken a while to get off the ground, or?
It has taken us a while to get off the ground. We were initially successful with some early funding of about $35,000 to get ourselves kind of established. It was enough to keep us going, so that Tom Daniels, the principal who basically started this, has been taken about a year to kind of develop the infrastructure, so that now we're sort of in place to start receiving more aid.
And do you know of any steps the government has taken in order to help over in Cambodia, to help the Montagnards?
None, as far as I know. The reason why we feel that we have to do something is that we were the soldiers that promised those people that if they would fight for us, we'd take care of them. And since the government has chosen kind of to ignore them, we decided to step up to the plate and see if there's something we could do.
And do you believe the United States, there's a problem in which the way they leave countries after war?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a pattern of going places and doing things and creating a mess and then just leaving. And case in point, of course, would be Afghanistan, which everybody's familiar with today.
And do you believe this happens too much, too often?
Yes, it's happened just about every kind of armed conflict that we've gotten involved with since, I'd say even including Korea is almost an example of a pull-out too, where things are half done.
And if I wanted to get involved in the Cambodia Corporation, or if I wanted to help out, how could I? What would be the best thing?
Well, I think right now what we're seeking is publicity, so what we're doing right now is really helpful. We need to attract a certain kind of people, and of course donations are always welcome. But we not only need the money, it's not just the money, we need engineering, we need some talent, we need to bring some Americans over there and put good old American ingenuity to work. And ask these people, hey, how could we help you? We can't go over there with any preconceived ideas of what we're going to give them. They need to tell us what they want.
Okay.
And that's the approach that we're taking, or else this thing will fail.
All right, Lee, well, thanks a lot. You've given us a lot of insight on this, and hopefully your mission will go as expected.
Well, thank you, Abby.
All
It's
right.
a pleasure being here.
Thanks. Most everyone has heard the story of a monster under your bed. Come up and we'll take a peek at Disney film where the monsters are anything but scary. But before that, he thinks big but designs small. We'll see how one man has the talent to create pieces of art on a 1-inch scale.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Supersized meals, mega shopping malls, and giant sport utility vehicles may all be evidence that bigger is better. But today we'll spend the day in the life of a man who has discovered that sometimes it's the little things that count.
Don Sheely lives in a nice big house with a really big garage and drives a full-size van. His latest obsession is with just the opposite. He is focusing on the world of miniatures. Don custom builds miniature replicas of furniture, houses, and various other items on a 1-inch scale.
A few years back, I finally started working with it, and I found out that I have a talent for building this stuff. I can just look at pieces of equipment or houses and figure out how to make them, even though I had no formal experience.
Don has only completed a few miniature projects to date, but his work has already caught the eye of at least one young fan.
He built this little garage, and it had like little shingles and little windows and siding and everything, and it's kind of neat.
Don's first major project was to build a miniature replica of an antique icebox that belonged to his wife's family. The project was a great success, and the miniature now sits on top of the original in the Sheely's living room. His current undertaking is to build his wife's childhood home on a 1-inch scale.
After my father died, my mom sold the house, so we no longer have that house, and it would just be really special.
Of course, even in the world of miniatures, there are some really big challenges.
Oh, shoot.
Don says finding the tools and materials to accommodate his hobby is sometimes a large obstacle.
When you go to try and find stuff, it's very difficult. It's tough finding stuff. That's why I got these tools, so I can make the stuff that I need to make.
Don has a patient nature and a meticulous eye. So for him, this miniature hobby is a source of major enjoyment. This is Kelly Anderson reporting for Studio One.
Don says the market for miniatures has not yet caught on in the Grand Forks area. He hopes to someday strike up a clientele on the internet. Monsters are usually described as big, scary creatures, but what about funny and friendly? The new movie Monsters Incorporated gives us an inside look at the daily job of a monster. The movie takes place in Monstropolis, home to a population of monsters of every shape, color, and size. The most valuable employee at Monsters Incorporated is Sully. He is an 8-foot-tall, blue-green monster under the voice of John Goodman. Sully can be ferocious for his job, but has a heart of a teddy bear. Jennifer Tilley, the voice of Celia, says the monsters don't always have to be scary.
I think kids will like that idea, and perhaps after this movie, they'll look forward to meeting the monsters in the closet.
The film required 2.5 million computer animations to be created. This is the most computer animation ever used in a movie. Monsters Incorporated is rated G and can be seen by kids of all ages. Now time to look at the events happening in your area.
The Constitution says that media has the right to free press. Recently, the U.S. government issued a statement telling media to be careful about how they report on the military action in Afghanistan. Media representatives say the government should not tell them how to do their job. We wanted your thoughts on how you think the media is covering the new war on terrorism.
What should I say? They tell too much. It scares people.
Media is adding to some of the frustration and confusion because everyone seems to have an angle.
That in a lot of cases they are putting our troops in jeopardy, maybe a little bit too nosy, maybe trying to find the scoop out a little bit too much. I think we need to know what is going on, but the in-depth things, I don't believe that we do need to know what's going on.
They're doing their utmost to keep the public well informed so that any great disaster such as happened in New York could be prevented.
Letting people know too much, and then so the terrorists, they find out a lot more.
That they are doing a tremendous job, especially the news anchors in the evening. We all, as a family, always do watch the nightly news and we discuss what's going on.
You can find pizza shops just about everywhere. The toppings usually consist of the classic pepperoni, cheese, and veggies. We found one pizza shop where the women who make the pizza are as unique as some of the toppings.
A small-town, family-owned business called Bonita's Pizza is stationed in Hatton, North Dakota.
A fellow in Enderlin, North Dakota decided that he had a pizza route which consisted of about 24 accounts, and he sold us the truck, the pizza route, and the whole thing.
Betty Wall is in charge of the whole production of Bonita's.
Yeah, go ahead and mix that up.
She also came up with the name.
Because I thought Bonita in Spanish meant Betty, which is absolutely nowhere close to it.
They start at 7:30 in the morning, and their day ends at 4:30. They work 2 to 3 days a week. This particular day, Arliss does the saucing. Saucing sets the pace of the assembly line. Patsy does the toppings, Kay does the cheese, little Shirley does the shrink wrapping, and Dan does the boxing. The other workers follow the setup as well. Today they made close to 1,800 pizzas, and yesterday they made a little over 2,000. They produce 12 to 14 different varieties of pizza, everything from the classic pepperoni to a breakfast pizza to even a chicken Alfredo pizza.
Chicken on a pizza, you've got to be kidding me. Don't knock it till you try it, just try it. And they're sold, they're hooked when they first try it.
One reason the workers like coming to work is because of each other.
We razz each other a lot. We really pick on each other and torment each other, but actually we're really all like family.
When one falls behind, someone jumps in. The buddy system helps finish the day to make sure that each pepperoni is in place. Along with photographer BJ Eisen, this is Bethany Denny reporting for Studio One.
Bonita's Pizza also helps organizations with fundraising. $2 for every pizza sold goes to a chosen charity. Patriotism often increases in times of war. We'll visit an elementary school to see how they are showing allegiance to their country. Plus, simulators help people train in a realistic environment. We'll get behind the controls of one of the best air traffic control simulators in the world. That story plus news, sports, and the updated weather forecast in the next half hour of Studio One.
students from any major can build a great future through the entrepreneurship programs at the College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota.
It lets them meet with business people and spread their wings and do the research to see if their ideas really do work.
Well, this program is for everybody. Business coincides and integrates with any major out there.
Trust yourself, take action, discover the entrepreneurship programs at the UND College of Business and Public Administration.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us. Before we get on to our show, I have to share this with you. I was just sifting around and I found some information from the Center for Science and the Public Interest. They just sent out a study of the 5 worst foods that you can eat as far as caloric content and salt and all that. And I'll pick 3 of them that are fairly famous, I guess. The worst was actually Quaker 100% natural oats and honey granola. If you take half a cup of that, that's 1 serving, it has more artery clogging fat than a McDonald's hamburger, they said. So
wow, you wouldn't expect that.
You
out
wouldn't,
of granola.
and then Campbell's chicken noodle soup was another one in the top 5. It has half of the salt, sodium content that you need for the entire day. And another one that surprised me was Burger King fries. It was the worst fries you could have because there's some special salty coating on it that seems to suck up the grease more than the other fries.
Well, I eat McDonald's fries, so I'm safe.
Well, there's a lot, and they say it's in moderation. Some people eat a lot of McDonald's fries and only a little bit of Burger King fries, so it all equals out in the end.
Uh-oh.
Well, coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, patriotism has been on the rise recently across the U.S. We'll show you how school children are expressing pride in their nation.
And air traffic controllers are said to have one of the most stressful jobs. We'll show you how aviation students can use virtual reality to enhance their learning.
Also, we'll talk to someone who has been to Ground Zero in New York. We'll hear how he has helped in the search for those who were trapped. But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. British Prime Minister Tony Blair met the Israeli Foreign Minister in Jerusalem Thursday. Blair is encouraging both Israelis and Palestinians to find a way back to a viable peace process. He also held a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon. Sharon says Israel is prepared to make compromises for the sake of peace. Blair is on a Middle East tour aimed at finding support for the military campaign in Afghanistan. In related news, Israeli helicopter gunships killed 2 Palestinians in a car who were planning to carry out a suicide attack on Israel. Israeli radio is reporting that a 3rd man was wounded and arrested by Israeli security forces. Sharon's office identified the 2 men who died as members of the Hamas military wing. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society confirmed the deaths and said a body found inside the car was too badly burned to easily identify. Israeli troops also killed 6 Palestinian militants in the West Bank on Wednesday, including a senior member of the Hamas. Many people are deciding to take the train more often since the September 11th attacks. However, they should be ready to follow some increased security measures. Amtrak now requires its passengers to show ID when getting tickets and checking their bags before departure. Guests age 18 or older must carry a driver's license or passport when getting ready to board the train. Although many passengers like the train because it is often less expensive than flying, others think it might be better for different reasons.
No, it's probably a little bit safer. Don't have to worry about it crashing into buildings.
A $1.8 billion proposal that passed in the House would provide more security personnel, increased surveillance, and enhanced screening procedures. As the threat of anthrax-contaminated mail increases, many people are beginning to use alternative methods of sending mail. Concerned citizens have increased their use of email and faxes. The scare has also affected the U.S. Postal Service, causing the amount of mail they deliver to decrease. This is a major concern for the U.S. Postal Service, which has been battling a decline in mail deliveries for years because of the internet. U.S. Postal Service officials expect the amount to decrease even more if the threat of anthrax continues. Since the terrorist attacks on September 11th, Americans seem especially proud of their country. This includes children. As a result, kids across the nation are joining others in displaying this new sense of patriotism.
Nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This familiar pledge has been a prevalent part of American schools for decades. Since the terrorist attacks, there seems to be a heightened show of patriotism in schools. However, this is causing some educators to question whether there should be restrictions on the Pledge of Allegiance and patriotic songs. Some feel as though they might be crossing the line between the separation of church and state. One school official in Grand Forks, North Dakota, says it isn't an issue in his district.
When we do the pledge, if there's someone that would choose not to say it, they have that right. But we haven't had a problem in Grand Forks here with kids not wanting to say the pledge.
One elementary principal says the pledge is an important part of her school's routine.
We say the pledge every day. Students lead it on the intercom with our announcements. So that's how our day starts. We say the pledge.
Besides reciting patriotic songs and verses, many schools have become involved in charity drives and other activities.
In the school, we did Nickels for New York, and in our classroom, we made candles saying we have sympathy for them or empathy.
Some children are expressing their feelings through artwork. Others seem more comfortable talking about their country.
I think they're much more willing to express their patriotism than they had been. It's more acceptable since it's talked about all the time.
So whether it be through artwork, charity drives, or music, these kids are showing they are proud to be Americans. Some schools are having problems with freedom of speech issues. One school in Madison, Wisconsin held an 8-hour school board meeting because some suggested that the words "One Nation Under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance are too religious and do not belong in public schools. And that's news for today. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, Leanna. Well, I'm curious to see what the weather holds for us.
Well, why don't we go back to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipond.
Hi, Monty and Ivy. Well, it looks like the winds that we currently are having out there, the strong winds will slacken out overnight tonight. But first of all, taking a look at our current conditions here in Grand Forks, we have a mostly overcast sky, still 46 degrees. Our dew point sits at 37. West winds have slackened up a bit now westerly at 14 miles per hour, pressure rising to 9.54 inches. Jet stream analysis for this first day of November currently out there. A trough, upper-level trough over the western Great Lakes into the northern plains, keeping this cool pool of air over sections of Manitoba and Ontario. But take a look into the early half of next week. A big ridge develops over the prairie provinces of Canada, and the warm air from the southwest will translate itself to the north and east into our direction, meaning near normal to above normal temperatures the latter half of the weekend into the early part of next week. Extended forecast for Grand Forks, North Dakota looks like this. Friday through Monday, expect plenty of sunshine. Overnight lows right around the freezing mark, and high temperatures reaching the upper 40s to lower 50s. So Monty and Ivy, looks like a very pleasant weather pattern shaping us up for us here in the next few days across the region. So get out and enjoy the sunshine.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Well, I like to see the sun.
It's always good to see sun.
Yes,
Another person we're always glad to see is James DeGelder with sports news.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. Several women's college hockey teams are planning on becoming Division I within the next several years. One team is at the University of North Dakota, where some major changes are being made in order to make the jump to Division I next year.
Sarah Spencer has been a die-hard hockey player since she was introduced to the sport 3 years ago. Sarah's a member of the UND women's hockey team, which will become a Division I program next year. She says there will be a lot of changes, but in the end, they will be worth it.
Everyone that we have here is great now, but this is a transition that's necessary to become a D1 school.
UND women's coach Mike Shea says he has dedicated this season to preparing the women for next year. He says although the girls are playing well so far, they still need some work to compete with Division I teams.
I'm using a philosophy of transition. I'm trying to get the team, these girls, ready so that they can step right into a Division I program.
In order to be fully integrated into all leagues, the UND team will need to go through several steps.
Next season we'll start out as a Division I team. In order to be in the WCHA, they must play a number of teams in the WCHA.
Once given Division I status, UND will be allowed to recruit and offer scholarships to its players, which will leave many of the women currently on the team off the squad. Sarah says she knows the new recruits will be taking some spots from women already on the team.
I know that we're going D1 next year and that not all the women are going to be able to be on that particular team, but it's a good incentive to work hard.
The women's team will finish off the season playing mostly regional teams, but also has games scheduled against Division I teams. Reporting for Studio One Sports, this is Corey Morlock.
Along with some new players for next year, the UND Athletic Department is looking for new coaches to replace Shea and his assistants. It's now time for the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. This week's question is, who was the first player in the history of baseball to have his number retired? Is it Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb, or Joe DiMaggio? The answer is Lou Gehrig. His number 4 was retired in 1939. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Ivy.
Thank you, James. There are some people who deal with disasters on a regular basis. We'll talk to one man who is called to help when disasters like the World Trade Center terror bombings occur.
Also, we depend on air traffic controllers to make sure our flights take off and land in safety. We'll see how they are being trained with world-class simulators. That story is next on Studio One.
Address your workforce training needs through the Workforce Training Partnership between Lake Region State College and the University of North Dakota. Both institutions have joined together to provide training in computer applications, management and supervision, the trades, and much more. The partnership also provides customized training programs to fit the specific needs of your business or industry. For more information, contact the Workforce Training Partnership Office at Lake Region State College or the University of North Dakota.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Air traffic controllers are often said to have the most stressful jobs in the world. A new high-tech simulator at the University of North Dakota is helping students who want to be air traffic controllers become better prepared.
On departure, turn left. Jenny Camp has always dreamed of being an air traffic controller. Even though it is considered by many to be the most stressful job in the world, she is determined. Now in her second year, she finally has the opportunity to have a virtually authentic experience as an air traffic controller. This has been made possible by the new 180-degree tower simulator in the University of North Dakota's School of Aviation. She is using the new system regularly and says she feels the experience is valuable.
Now we have a more realistic look at how an air traffic controller tower actually looks, because this looks basically like what a real air traffic control tower looks like.
The simulator gives the students a sensation of a real control tower. Camp and other students using the simulator will be able to interact with computer-generated planes while seeing them on the three-dimensional screen.
We don't have to look so much at little blue screens anymore. We get to actually see the airplanes coming in and landing and departing.
Jay Whitaker is a junior. He noticed a big change in the program at UND.
Well, before we were playing with plastic planes on a cardboard runway and a simulated tower. Now we have 5 screens computerized.
006, Canopy Tower, wind 250 with 10, clear for takeoff.
The simulator cost $1.2 million. The dream became a reality after UND acquired a contract with the Norwegian government to train their air traffic controllers. The unique facility allows students to work both on the control tower and radar. The simulator can imitate many of the major airports in the US. The director of air traffic control, Gary Bartleson, says this helps the students. They get to practice on airports they will actually work at.
They're working right now on the Oklahoma City area that we train off, and that's where when they graduate, they'll go to Oklahoma City.
Students train in Oklahoma after finishing their initial degree, so this particular program is used a lot in class here at UND.
We run the airspace, the runway environment's the same, the aircraft that float through this environment are the same, and when we work the radar with the terminal radar, which is 30 miles of airspace, into the en route, which could be 200 miles of airspace, this is what they will practice on at Oklahoma City.
The aviation school is not planning on stopping here. Paul Dretzel instructs the Norwegian program. He is hoping for more projects similar to this in the near future.
We're hoping to expand even further. Gary Bartleson and myself are hoping for another 3D tower simulator in the future. So because with the increased enrollment and the need for air traffic controllers in the United States and the world, we feel that we can provide that training as long as we keep our technology edge.
Dretzel says he has seen a significant increase in all classes since the simulator was installed, and a real increase in enthusiasm from the students. Reporting for Studio One, this is Anita Ramdhari.
The University of North Dakota is the only FAA-approved university that has this type of simulator. The aviation school is hoping to acquire more international contracts. It also expects the facility to attract students to the university. Coming up, we'll meet someone who went to the disaster site of New York City and helped with the recovery process. His special talents have made him a part of a very specialized team.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Since the attack of September 11th, this country has been focused on rebuilding and finding the strength to move on. Many people have lent their talents to help New York identify the people who fell victim to this tragedy. Forensic anthropologist John Williams was in New York helping with the recovery process. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you, Marty.
Well, first of all, what is a forensic anthropologist, for those who don't know?
Well, we're part of the larger field of anthropology, and our specialty is with the human skeleton. And then one step further, we work with identifying people from their skeletal remains.
Okay. And you're also part of a special team, and it's called DMORT. Could you tell us what that's about?
Yeah, DMORT is a fairly new concept. It's a part of a federal agency. It's under the Health and Human Services and part of the Department of Public Health Service. And the DMORT stands for Disaster Mortuary Operational Response Team. And we're a team set up by FEMA region consisting of anthropologists, dentists, pathologists, funeral directors, law enforcement, x-ray technicians, and so forth, who go out to these types of disasters. And they have sort of a twofold purpose. One is to provide comfort to family and loved ones of those who have lost their lives, and to elicit information about their loved ones. And then also the second half is to actually make the identification process.
And that's where you fit in?
And that's it. I'm part of the identification side of things.
Okay. What are some of the disasters that you've worked on?
I've been on 3 now. I started off with the Korean airline crash in Guam back in '97, and then 2 years ago with the Egypt air crash off the coast of Massachusetts.
Okay, and then now, of course, in New York, you were there. What happened when they called you, when they contacted you to come to New York? Did you have to prepare yourself to go over?
Well, since this was after, a good 2 weeks after, I was sort of mostly prepared at this point, and figuring that I would be called at some point to go out given the enormity of the situation. So it wasn't as stressful as it had been right after September 11th. So I had a little time to prepare myself.
There's been a lot of images across television that we've seen of Ground Zero, they call it, and you were there in person. What was your reaction when you first saw the damage?
I know it's a cliche, but pictures don't do justice to the actual situation. Actually be there and realize how big those buildings were and how much rubble there is and how unrecognizable the rubble is. It's not like you can put your finger on and say, okay, there's a door or a chair. All you have is just unrecognizable steel beams and rubble.
Okay. Now, what is the process that you took then once you got there?
Well, once I got there, they divide up people depending upon their expertise and where they're needed. And I was sent out to what's called the Fresh Kills landfill, which is on Staten Island. And that is where all the debris from the site is taken and then sorted through looking for human remains that aren't immediately visible there at Ground Zero.
Okay, what are some of there must be some dangers involved with your work as well. Can you explain some of that?
Well, there's always a situation with, disease. You have decomposition, and there's always other concerns like hepatitis and even AIDS, depending on the nature of the situation. This one provided a whole series of other problems, such as asbestos. And EPA was monitoring the site regularly, and they said the air was okay, but the ground was not. And so to avoid ground contact, or if there's a chance for dust being kicked up, we'd have to wear respirators.
Okay, and we still see smoke smoldering from the rubble. Are there still fires burning inside, and how does that hinder the process for you?
As I understand, the fires are still burning. At the time I was there, they were still recording temperatures in excess of 1,500 degrees in the core of the fire area. I did not see this, but I was told that at night, when they bring out steel beams, they'd actually be glowing.
Wow.
And that's definitely going to slow things down. It also means it's going to remove still further the possibility of identifying some individuals.
Sure. There's probably a lot of people out there going, wow, how do you do the work that you do? And how do you separate the emotion of something so terrible as a terrorist act and then going into the scientific way? Is it easy to do that, or how do you do that?
I guess each person is different. I guess the first thing is, if it really bothered me, I wouldn't be doing it. So that's part of it. And we try to be as pulled back as we can. They only keep us out for 2 weeks at a time for this very reason, that eventually, no matter what the circumstance, you are going to get wrapped up in it. The one thing that was fortunate is there were no children, and those tend to always bother us when we find children. So that was, one blessing, that we did not have to deal with any, children's remains. It can be tough. We try, humor is, the gallows humor is one of our ways of keeping somewhat detached. If you get too serious about it, you're going to lose your effectiveness, and then your mental health is also at stake.
Sure. You said that they pull you out after 2 weeks. Is there any chance that you'll be going back to New York?
It's likely that after the first of the year, assuming things are still going as they are, and I'm still needed, and it sounds like I will be, it's very likely I'll be going back for another 2 weeks.
All right. Well, good luck if you do go back. Thank you for helping out in the process, too. I'm sure there's a lot of people happy that you're there.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, John. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll follow a moving Vietnam memorial to a small town in North Dakota. Plus, we'll give you the latest in entertainment and news.
One of our photographers, Brian Jones, stopped in at an antique shop recently. Here's what he found. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.